Are you a current resident of San Antonio, Texas, or thinking about moving to San Antonio, Texas? Well, don't get left behind in the real estate race. Check out our market update to keep up with the latest and greatest of what's happening in San Antonio. So, in this video, we're breaking down all the trends, how the market's doing, and what to be prepared for in the future of San Antonio real estate. Stay tuned, it's coming up. Hey, so if you don't know me, my name is Carlos Copswell. I'm a local realtor here in San Antonio, Texas with Keller Williams. I would absolutely love it if you were to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button so you're notified every time I put out a new video. But I know what you're here for. That's the market data. So let's jump into it. So according to Alto's research, of course, the market is definitely changing, but we are still technically in a seller's market. There's still a slight edge on the seller side. So if you take a look at this market index, it has to be below 30% to be in a buyer's market. We're right at 36, so we're just about there in a buyer's market. So if you take a look at this past week and the median list price, you're looking at about 322,354 over the last 90 days. So as to compare to earlier on in the year, we were at an all-time high in June, July, when it was about 347,571, which honestly is still a lot lower than the national average. If you take a look over here, the national average is 394,000. So San Antonio is still doing pretty well at affordability. As we look at the trend, though, prices did start dropping, but over the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks, we have seen interest rates starting to flatten out. Even went down for a little bit. They did come right back up, but they are starting to kind of flatten out. We'll have to see what happens in the new year. Next up, we actually take a look at the inventory, so homes for sale. So if you take a look at it, and over the last month, we had 5,480 homes for sale, where last year at this time, we only had 3,155 homes for sale. So we're up about 73% year over year. Inventory is definitely up. So if you take a look at the trends going back to late 2019, you can see that the average was sitting around about 5 to 6,000 on a regular basis. So inventory was sitting around there for quite a while. We were in a seller's market still. So technically, yes, we are still on the cusp of a seller's market, but it looks like it is starting to change. We just still have a shortage on inventory. So as we look at days on market, as of right now, you're looking at a 90-day average about 55 days. So as you can see, homes have definitely been sitting on the market on a trending upward for, again, since about July. We're kind of at the peak right now, as I mentioned, about 55 days. It's quite a long time when you think about it. In the early stages of this year, we were like 20 days. If you could, it'd be hard to go a weekend if it was a great house without seeing a home being sold. So next up, we're going to talk about homes that have sold or closed. So in the last month, 1,376 homes closed in the San Antonio market, which is down 30%. And when you think about it compared to this time last year, now that's a big difference. 30% is quite a big difference. It's definitely due to the interest rates changing. It's also seasonality. As I mentioned, we're during the holidays, the market does definitely slow down, but we'll have to really see what happens in the coming year in 2023. Now, one thing I wanted to look at is the properties with price decreases. So as of right now, 55% of properties are having decreases. That's more than half of the properties that are put up on the MLS are having a price decrease, whether it's $1,000 or $50,000, they're having a price decrease. Where if you take a look at last year, even earlier on this year, we were like at 18%. That is a huge difference of price decreases across the market. Again, that means that people are still way overpriced, and usually they have to sell in most cases, and they're having to drop their price after having been on the market for a couple days or weeks or whatever that may be. So one of the major key factors on a changing market is the price per square footage. So as of right now, we're looking at about $174 per square foot across the city of San Antonio. At the peak of the market, around June, July, is about $188, which is not a major difference. But if you think about it, when you have a larger house, that is going to make quite a big difference on your sales price. So we do see, of course, a trend with that dropping. We'll, again, have to see what it looks like at the beginning of the year. Seasonality also has a factor on this as well. Another thing we look at is percentage of list price. So essentially, that is comparing what the house was listed for versus what it actually sold for. This is really great for buyers and sellers to know as well, but mainly for buyers because they know that they're not going to be paying way over asking price if it's below 100%. As of right now, we're at 99.1%. Which again, if you look at years past before the pandemic, that was kind of the norm. You see last year in July of 21, that's probably the peak at 101.4%. So that means that almost every house was going above asking price. Now we're in a time where houses are really either at asking price or just below, which is really great for buyers and sellers who are trying to capitalize on this market. Now, just a couple other things to look at. So, if you're a renter or if you're a landlord, rents have actually dropped to a new low, which is 1,794. Where earlier on, just a couple months ago, we were at 1,879. So rents are starting to flatten out as well here in the area. So that's something to take into consideration. So with all of this data, we can really see what the trends are, see what's been happening in the market, and really help predict what's going to happen in the future. So Realtor.com is saying that it's going to be an absolutely amazing year in San Antonio for real estate in 2023. It looks like that San Antonio home sales are anticipated to climb 2.5% in 2023, while average home prices are likely to increase by 4.6%. Now, it says here that the national average is 5.4%, so San Antonio is still below that. But as far as the home sales go across the national average, they said that it's actually going to drop by 14%, whereas San Antonio is going to rise. So it looks like San Antonio is still a great place to buy or sell real estate. Now, across the board of the state of Texas, when you look at some of these other metro areas, Austin is not doing too well. Dallas, they're doing about the same. They're a little bit above us on sales and price wise. We're sitting right in the middle as well. Rawson, their sales are not going to increase as much. And as far as El Paso, it looks like they're doing really well over there. Overall, this gives us a really great idea of what's going to happen. It looks like prices are still going to increase at a slight rate, not very much. Sales are still going to increase. So San Antonio, Texas is still a great place to buy or sell real estate. It's still very affordable. If you're thinking about moving here, if you got questions about the market in general, you're looking to buy or sell, do not hesitate to reach out. Other than that, you guys have an absolutely amazing rest of your year and talk to you soon. Bye bye.